What's up, everyone? We just want to say thank you for listening to the podcast and that this episode is sponsored by Straight Stoner, also known as the brand SS96. Shop today for t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. For listening today, you receive not 10, not 15, not 20, but 30% off. Yes, that's right, 30% off. Just use the code SWISHMASTERS today. Visit ss96.net and use the promo code SWISHMASTERS. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Swish Masters podcast. I'm your co-host, Zay, the executive producer.
Yep. What's up, Zay? I'm Q the Guru. What's up, y'all? Another episode. Let's go, man.
I think that you cannot deny the greatness of Chris Paul, man.
Right.
Regardless of 16 years of not being in an NBA Finals or not, Chris Paul, to me, has always been one of the top point guards that I've seen personally, that I've seen in my time. I think that getting to the finals at this stage says a lot about him as a player, as an individual, as, you know, just somebody who stuck to the grind for all this time being in the league. For me, I think CP3 is obviously one of the, like I said, one of the greatest point guards that we've seen. I think he is one of the greatest point guards of all time. To me, if you look at the story, look at his journey so far, going into New Orleans, barely, winning any playoff series, gets traded to LA, couldn't get out of the semifinals. He goes to Houston. He's right there, but gets an injury. He's knocked out. All right, next year he's shipped out. You know what I mean? Oh, he's washed. He doesn't have it anymore. He takes Oklahoma City. No one expects them to be a contender. They're thinking, oh, OKC's about to be, piling up the draft picks. CP3 doesn't have enough to help them. They become a playoff team that almost beats the Rockets in the first round, the team that he just came from. The next year gets traded. Phoenix didn't make the playoffs in at least 8 years, probably more than that. My numbers are not accurate, but hadn't made the playoffs in a long time. But makes the playoffs, becomes a top team in the West, in the league. Beats the MVP, sweeps them in the semifinals, gets to the conference finals, dominates, and he finally got there. And now, once he gets that chip, I'm saying CP3 is top 10, at least, in my opinion. Just the story, everything he's been through, I appreciate the testament to his career, the grind, the way he's kept himself motivated, the way he's kept his game up to par and excelled at all this, through all the things that he's been through. I think you have to respect that. I think you have to give him top nods.
Yeah. Let me clarify. Can you clarify this for me? So, they say if he wins a chip, he'll be top 10. That's what you said?
At least top 10.
So where is he now? He doesn't have a chip, so where is he now?
I still think let me think. As far as top point guards of all time,
yeah,
he still, to me, top 15, if not higher. I really, yeah. I guess the way I'm breaking it down in my head is that when I think of point guards and I think of what it means to be a point guard, and obviously from the generation that he came into being a point guard to now, it's evolved a bit differently. But when you look at his consistency, his numbers, his ranks, what his averages that he's had through each season, Chris Paul is the prototypical point guard, and he's been able to excel pretty much all of his career. He hadn't had a significant drop off, and if anything, he revitalized himself as a scorer as well. So I think when it comes to like his long-term stats, it's a stat line that can't be denied, and that he falls into at least the top 15 as of right now without a championship.
Okay. I will argue good points. I will argue that right now without a chip, I think he's top 10 right now without a chip.
Okay.
And closer to the end, closer to the bottom half,
Okay.
of a top 10. He's like 7 to 10, something in that area for me. Like, or right at 10, he's in that area. Not so if he wins a chip, I feel like he'll be at least top 5 if he wins a chip. Because like you said, he has the stats already. And his career's not over yet, so he'll climb the assist ladder before he's done with it. He'll climb the steals ladder before it's over and done with. So I think it'll speak for itself. If he wins a chip, though. If he doesn't win a chip, he doesn't finish the deal, he'll still always probably be arguable. You can argue him to be like a top 10 point guard, in my opinion. Unless there'll be more guards that come after him that have more accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if Dame ever gets a ring, or if Russ ever gets a ring, all these other guards are in the league now that have like historical feats.
Yeah.
So, and they potentially be close to references and assists. It's like it's a no-brainer at that point.
Yeah.
Like I said, the main thing is this. The caveat is this: he needs to get the chip. If not, it's not gonna be top 5 at all. He might kind of sit outside the top 10 if he doesn't get it. So.
Yeah, I hadn't.
I feel like a lot of people just assuming he's going to win, but it's not over yet. You have to just wait and see, because anything can happen. And we'll see.
We'll have to see. I guess my train of thought is, I have to think like, who are the top point guards of all time right now? Because obviously, we probably can name at least the top 3. But I guess that'll be a conversation for another day. It's who
probably get into it. I'm probably see what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna just rattle off like 3 names right quick.
Okay.
Obviously,
you compare top 3 real quick.
Okay. Obviously, you got to consider Magic Johnson.
Of course.
I think that you have to. Ooh, I don't know. I might be in hot water right now.
Okay, go ahead. I want to make an argument.
Okay.
You can say what I think you're going to say.
Magic. Stockton.
Okay, that's fine.
And my 3rd top point guard right now, or all time. Steph.
See, that's where we.
I knew that was gonna be the point.
I'm surprised you say him for 2, because I'm like, no, not for me. For me, top 3, we'll compare Magic, number 1. We got, I say Oscar, number 2.
Okay, yeah.
Isaiah, number 3 right now. Then Stockton. Then like Stockton can be number 3 too. I would go Isaiah right now.
Hang on. So you said, okay, Magic,
yeah.
Stockton.
No, Magic. I said Magic, Oscar.
Oscar, my bad. Okay, you're right. Okay.
And then what I say?
Stockton maybe at 3.
I say Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
I'll roll with Isaiah Thomas for 3 right now. But no way I'm putting Steph in there yet. Top 3. I'm surprised to see him top 3 ever. My thing is this. I know he revolutionized the game with the shooting. But being a point guard is not just shooting, man. Greatest shooter of all time, yeah, Steph, number 1.
Hands down.
Greatest point guard though? Yeah, I think he'll be on the list, but not top 3, not right behind Magic. Oh, come on. Not yet. Not yet.
I have to really sit and like look at these names because I threw Stockton out there and he doesn't even have a chip. But also,
ooh, but Oscar does.
Exactly.
Isaiah does. That's why.
It was my fault. I didn't include Oscar, but my thing is it's kind of hard to define Steph's rank for me because he's a point guard, but also he is one of the he's going to be one of the top players of all time.
He is. I'm not saying he's not. I'm talking about point guard.
But my thing with point guard specifically is how do you define it? Because obviously Steph isn't, like I said, Chris Paul is like prototypical point guard, has the whole package, but Steph also has the whole package, but the thing he does that he revolutionized was the shooting aspect, the scoring aspect of being a point guard. But when you look at like a CP3 or Magic or an Oscar, well, even Oscar was a scorer, but when you talk about point guard, floor general, being able to score, being able to like control the game with your playmaking.
Yeah, do all that. The argument is this: who was the playmaker on the Golden State Warriors teams on the championship runs? Who was the playmaker?
Oh man,
who was the primary playmaker for those? You know who it was. You probably don't like him, but he was.
Draymond.
What's his name?
Oh,
there we go. Draymond Green was the person.
Oh god.
It's the offense because Steph Curry was often what? Off the ball.
I mean, when you have Steph Curry, I'm gonna pass Steph Curry the ball. So
he's not. No, greatest shooter, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm okay with that.
All-time scorers, yes, but not point guard is so much more than scoring.
No, I agree with you.
Like I'm not saying he won't be on the list. He can be on the point guard list, but like not top 3 when you got other when you had other point guards that actually more general and like pace the game. And don't get me wrong, Steph is a threat, but that's my only issue with people having him like top 3.
I don't know. That's not my like.
That's my argument.
Solid top 3. I was just like.
I know. I'm just saying like, and I just know because when people think of these lists, Steph on 9 now. I'm like, I know you're gonna say Steph because I get that.
Yeah.
That's my only argument about that. He was not the primary playmaker during those runs, right?
Right. I agree with you. I agree that he. Playmaking wise, if you think of a point guard playmaker, he's not top 3. He's probably not even top 5, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. He's not top 3 now, y'all. I'm okay with top 5, not top 3.
No.
He's in the list. I'm just saying, not top 3 though.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the list at the end. But
yes, he is.
But I agree with you. I just threw it out there because I was like, I have to like really like get my mind around it.
I get it.
But like really, because my top 3, Magic is going to be number 1 for me.
Like, it's almost number 1 for everybody, really.
Yeah, so, Magic is number 1 point guard all time to me. But
number 1.
Everybody else, I gotta like really like look at the names and look at the list because, like you said, with Steph, he's a shooter. He plays off the ball, but I also respect his ability to make plays because he is a point guard. He can make he does have playmaking ability, but it's not on the level of top 10, top 3, like we said. But that makes me think of another thing, man.
If this ever gets out there like that, I just know people gonna go at me. But I made a sound argument. Remember, the main playmaker was Draymond Green. He was the main guy playmaking for y'all. So don't at me like that, because I know there's some Warrior stands out there, man. You don't know. I know.
Yeah, so, my little brother.
So you know yourself that. Yeah. That's my argument. If you have a counter argument to that, please let me know, because I'll listen. I just don't.
Right. We're all for it. Put your arguments in the comments. Who's the top point guards of all time? Was Steph
Does Steph deserve to be top 3?
playmaker of the championship teams back in the day? Let's talk about it. But you bring up, when we talk about point guards and we're talking about prototypical playmakers, floor generals, obviously we got, Magic. But when you think of like just explosive and athletic and scoring and changing the game, what are your thoughts on, first of all, how do you classify this guy? Allen Iverson, is he a point guard? Is he a shooting guard? And where, if he's in the rank of guards, is he a point guard? Is he a shooting guard? And how does he rank? Because obviously he can make plays too, but also we know how dangerous as a scorer he was. So what's your thought on that?
I say this too. I didn't grow up seeing Iverson play. I just know him from right highlights and things like that. So I don't know who was the actual. I mean, he can make plays, but based on what I know of it, AI, he's more of a scorer. He's also more known as a scorer, as well as setting the fashion trends in the NBA. Bringing cornrows, tattoos, sleeves, the culture of that we see now.
Right.
That's why I most know AI for and recognize him for. And he's more of a scorer. And I feel like all the other people I've seen or heard from that actually watch him play, they think of him more as a scorer. So it's similar to this. I would say similar to the Steph argument almost. He's a great scorer. But was he like the prototypical point guard? Like was he actually a playmaker for his team? I don't know. But I would say he's more of a scorer. Like I would include him more on the 2 guard list than the 1 guard. But his position was actually point guard. So
I mean, he played 1, he played 2, because back in the day they had Eric Snow, they had Aaron McKee. So he played off the ball as well sometimes, but like primarily, to me, the dude's my height. He's 6 feet, so he's, you know what I mean. In the NBA, he's gonna be probably handling the ball more so than not. But obviously, we do have short guards. But
yeah, compare him to. You know how Kyrie's like a bucket getter?
That's a good point.
Not exactly though. Like he can find you if you're open. Like that's probably something what AI did. He'll find you if you're open. But he's primarily like a scorer. Like Kyrie, primarily gonna get you a bucket.
Right.
And on the Cavs teams was LeBron, but even when he was on the Celtics, he wasn't really that assist person.
Yeah. I think that's a different like category for guys like Kyrie. Like that's a perfect comparison, because they basically
handle the ball,
but they are scorers primarily. They don't really. They can obviously like get.
Not saying they can't do it. They can do it, but
their primary thing is like, oh, I'm about to go out here and get you. Like AI say this stuff. I was a killer. You know what I mean? Like that's their thing. They go get buckets. So. I guess to me, you have to like really. It's kind of hard to define what is the point guard position, because when you think of it in modern times, for like guys like Kyrie and Steph and Dame, scoring, but generations before us, the leader, the floor general, the person that sets up everybody else. So
because it's kind of dictated by the game and how it's played too. Centers and big men had more of a central role back then. You really need a point to help guide that and give the center the ball, and to really facilitate. Nowadays, offense is predicated by the guards now. It's like CP3 guards need to bucket first and then incorporate big men in the front court. So it's really about how the game changed. I feel like now we need to make subcategories now. Point guard, top prototypical point guards, like and then scorer, And then you know how NBA 2K does the archetypes things. We kind of like subdivided like that.
Yep.
Like, you know, these were the best like passers, and because you have so many. That's what's great about the game. You have so many diverse talents in here.
True.
Because there are some amazing passers of the ball. That's point guards. You know, Pistol Pete. You know, you got White Chocolate. You know, like
one of my favorite players.
Yeah. So you got amazing ball handlers. That Steph would be on the list. Kyrie. You know.
Yeah.
Just you have to really look at the list as the NBA community and like maybe fix another list because it's not going to work. It's because you can argue all day.
Yeah. I think it's just like I said. I think it's very specifically with point guards difficult because of, like you said, all the different archetypes and different styles and players, like sizes, you know, athletic ability, handle, shooting ability. All of it is very like diverse. So I think you made a good point of like we have to really be careful and make these different subcategories for these positions, because if you throw them all in there, I feel like somebody's going to be slighted to an unfair advantage because of, oh, I can shoot, but this person I can you know, no look pass easily compared to what you can do for generals. So we'll have to dive into it.
Yeah, we definitely will, because floor generalship is still so important to the history of the game, as well as it is now. But you know, I think the emphasis now is on how efficient are you shooting the ball. Nowadays, it's like you can't shoot, you can't do anything, because nowadays you really do need to be able to shoot based on the defenses that are being played. Because if you can't shoot, defense can back off. You know, like we've seen, for example, Ben Simmons, and it's tough. You have to be able to get a bucket somehow, mid-range, three, something. You have to be able to get the bucket. But yeah, in the conversation, CP3. I know we both seen him as like the prototypical point guard for general. So yeah, right now for me, he's top 10 based on like everything we know in history now. But if these other guys potentially get championships, he'll probably fall off the top 10 list if he doesn't get chipped. If CP3 gets a chip, he'll perhaps stay on the top 10, top 5 list all time. So
hands down.